What up, gamers? What up, Dota 2 gamers? We're back with another YouTube video, and today we're finishing up our little mini series, and with the final guide being position 1 or carry or hard carry. This role is extremely popular. A lot of pro players like Ana and Arteezy have popularized this role, and it's one of the fan favorites. And honestly, you truly can just 1v5 every game if you're good at this role. All right, now what makes a hero a safe laner? Well, what defines a safe laner is a hero that needs items and scales really well into late game, and they're called carry because that's their job. Their job is to carry the game when they have enough space and farm. So if you think about a hero like Alchemist, for example, early game he's not so great, but he scales really well once he gets his innate makes him get more gold per creep skilled, and this is really a good example of a carry because carries like to farm creeps and get their items before they start to play the game truly. If you'll have a hero like Alchemist who farms up his Radiance and Blink, and then his BKB, let's say, then he has like an extra items above the enemies, he hits faster timing, he's able to carry the game. Or if you have a hero that likes to go a little bit later, like Faceless Void, he'll get his Maelstrom, BKB, Mask of Madness, Mjolnir, whatever the item build is, I'm not too familiar, but he tends to get later timings, and it all depends on your hero, but what makes a safe laner is a hero that lanes in the safe lane early and has their position 5 to protect them, and they get a lot of gold by hitting creeps. Their main priority is to focus on their farm versus an offlaner who likes to focus on shutting down the opponent's farm, or a mid laner who likes to focus on winning that 1v1 matchup, excuse me. So, when simply put in terms, safe laners like to farm fast and hard and focus on their farm and then join later on when they have their core items completed. All right, now I've got a couple categories here just to kind of explain a little bit of the different types of playstyles of carries, and all of carries usually have the same sort of idea in mind where they need to hit their items. They need to hit their item timings and get a lot of gold so that they can actually carry the game later on. Your carry's most of the time going to be your win condition, so your teammates will always tend to play around and make that player happy. So just getting straight into it, we got Battle Fury heroes. These are heroes that need a Battle Fury to really start playing the game. They are typically on the weaker side in the lane, and I won't say that's necessarily true. By the time they hit 6 and 7, and the enemy offlaner hits 6 and 7, they're usually going to be weaker. So if you think about AM, he's going to be like maybe he'll burn your mana in lane, and then eventually the offlaner hits 6 or 5 or 6, whatever the offlaner's power spike is, and the AM can't lane anymore. So usually AM needs to get a good start building towards that Battle Fury. Once he hits his Battle Fury timing, he flash farms. Same with Jug, PA, Troll. These heroes need their Battle Fury so that they can flash farm into their bigger items that are necessary for them to win the game. These ones we have like lane dominators. They typically are good against the offlaners. So we have Ursa, who's good against most melee offlaners. His damage ramps up, and he can just kind of kill you if you walk out of place. Monkey King, again, Jingu Mastery, very good against melee offlaners. And usually I'd say about 90% of offlane heroes are melee, and then 10% are not. It kind of depends on the meta a lot of times as well. Wind Ranger, she's got Wind Run. She just hits really hard. She hits you a lot. She's got good range and stats. Lifestealer, Rage, plus Feast makes it very hard to kill him in lane, so he kind of just stays there forever, and that's kind of really annoying as an offlaner player. Razor steals your damage, very good against certain matchups. A lot of these dominate the offlane heroes, like to see the matchups, so sometimes it's nice to pick them last. These fast timing and win heroes are heroes that need to hit their timings faster than the enemies hit their timing, especially the enemy carry. So you'll see all these heroes have like pretty fast farming methods, and they like to, if they win their lane, the game is really easy for them. So like Gyro will, if Gyro wins his lane, gets some fast Aghanims, let's say he has like 13, 14-minute Aghanims, gets a Crystallis BKB after that, you kind of just can't kill him or fight him, especially if he's ahead. Same with Alchemist, that early Radiance, BKB. Medusa, she gets a Manta Butterfly. How do you kill a Medusa with a Manta Butterfly at minute 18? Next up, we have Glass Cannon. These heroes do a ton of damage, but they are very squishy and lack some escape. It's a little bit different for Clinks, but Clinks, like 2 or 3 spells thrown on him in the early game, and he pretty much dies, Sniper, Lina, etc. But these heroes output so much damage, and if they position well, it's really hard to take them down, especially if their team plays around them. These heroes are typical hard carries. When you think hard carry, you think of like Faceless Void or like PA or AM. These heroes like scale really hard. I have them up here just because Battle Fury is kind of its own playstyle. So these heroes that play for the late game, like Faceless Void, Spectre, these heroes scale really well, and their early game is typically really weak. So Faceless Void, Arc Warden, these heroes get really weak early, but they get super strong later. So like the later the game goes, the harder it is to deal with these heroes. Arc Warden will split push the hell out of you. Faceless Void gets those big chronos, ton of damage, attack speed. He's really hard to bring down late game too because of Time Walk. Anyways, last category, Flash Farmer. These heroes like Luna, Sven, Naga, these heroes can farm really fast, so if they're losing lane, Luna can max glaives and go into the jungle and farm really fast. Sven typically maxes W, which is his cleave, so he's going to be able to farm jungle really fast as well. Naga Siren, if she needs, she can send illusions into the jungle and just play this like farmy split pusher hero until she gets items to actually fight. Different carries play differently. Play to how your hero plays, not just to the position 1 role. Like if you're playing a hero like Marcy and you're AFK farming the entire match, that's not what you want to do. But if you're playing a hero like AM, maybe you want to AFK and split push the entire game instead of fighting directly because you're weaker. But if you're playing a hero like Marcy, like I said, you want to be fighting and because you do more damage, you come online earlier. So just play to your hero strengths, not to the role of position 1. And one more thing I want to say is you usually don't AFK on position 1. You still help with your team, but you want to put a lot of priority on your own farm. So if it's a bad fight or a bad engagement, you avoid it at all costs. And if you're behind, you always farm and you never fight. But like if you see 3 people half HP diving your tier 1 tower and your team is there fighting, maybe you can TP in and get a couple cleanup kills and it'll help boost your farm even more. So don't be AFK, but make sure to take smart engagements. Hey guys, Future Daniel here. I just noticed that I didn't have any audio on the Dota 2 replay that I was watching, so I'm going to add in some music. All right, back to you, video Daniel. All right, so in this replay we have 23 Savage, who's very high ranked, rank 1 even. So he's very good at Dota. He knows what he's doing. Let's watch how he plays carry. So one thing I want to mention is the starting build. You buy stats for a little bit extra damage and HP. It's just good to have stats in general. Typically, as a carry, you don't want to double down on regen because then you're getting less net worth and you're getting less, less damage means it's harder to last hit and stuff, right? So what you'll notice him do is he flat cannons the creeps. He wants to make sure this lane is pushed as much as possible, and then Phoenix can pull it back. And by doing this, he gets a lot of harass. And this is a thing kind of more specific towards Gyro. Other heroes you're not going to see doing this. Like if you're playing Slark, for instance, you're going to kind of static the creeps here. And then if someone walks up, you'd like pounce on them and hit him a bunch with Essence Shift. But that's a different hero, so he's playing Gyro. He's just flacking the creeps down. He's against Darkseer, so he wants to kill that Ion Shell creep as much as possible. You'll notice he doesn't really hit the enemy if there's a last hit to be had, right? He prioritizes last hits over harass, but he goes for kills if he can, right? You don't want to just solely focus on creeps. You need to balance it well. So missing a couple creeps here and there is fine, especially if you're zoning out the enemy and getting more space to farm. It's very important to win lane. Winning lanes is almost always better than like farming AFK, and I've learned this over time because if I just focus on farming a lot, especially in the off lane or even carry, if I just focus on farming and the enemy's like free, they get stronger than me faster and they win. And they win lane, and then you're weak, you have to farm passively, but if you win lane, you can farm aggressively and faster and more efficient. So long story short, focus on winning lane, but also make sure to prioritize the creeps. I know it's a little bit difficult, but he's prioritizing creeps. He's missing last hits, big noob, rank 1 noob. He's actually very good at the game. It's just, this hero's pretty hard to play early game. It's just very low damage, and the animation's a little bit fast. So it takes a lot of practice to be good at this role, but what I notice here is he's playing super aggressive because so let me explain this a little bit better. He's skilling his first spell, which is a damage spell and not a farming spell, and his third spell is a farming spell. So he'll skill this if the lane was like, let's say he couldn't ever be aggressive. They just had like some crazy lane combo that was just way better than Gyro Phoenix. He could never be aggressive. He would probably max E and maybe not skill his Q as much, but he's skilling this because he knows, hey, me and Phoenix are stronger, maybe we're better players than these guys, whatever the reason is, he knows that they're stronger and he's going to apply more pressure. So he's going to take more points in his Q, and he's going to play to win the lane a little bit more than farming. Obviously, level 1 flak is fine for farming, as you can see him doing right now. But basically, the goal as a carry is to flash farm, and he's even applying a lot of pressure when it's possible. But again, if you're playing a hero like Medusa, you're not going to be doing this because Medusa can't do this early. But he knows his hero strengths. He knows Gyro is able to do these plays, especially with his skill build. And this facet's really nice because it gives him movement speed when he hits heroes with his Q. So he just kind of plays more of an aggressive, I'm going to zone you out of lane and bully you a lot, which is one of the most annoying things as an offlane player myself. I hate when carries do this because it just means like, hey, I'm getting like pretty much destroyed in lane here. I can't do anything. But you'll notice him flacking every time. He's just flash farming these creeps down. It's insane. And then he'll apply pressure on the tower if he can. But look at this farm. He's just farming so fast and efficiently. If we check out his last hits, he's 30 and Darkseer has 19. So it's almost double his last hits. And then if we go to net worth here, he's about 1,000 gold ahead of Darkseer. So he knows I mean, a lot of Dota is just understanding matchups and understanding how other heroes work. Again, just like that, they run him down. All right, another thing I want to mention is farming patterns. So this is very important on carry, especially because, again, your goal is not to be fighting as much, but it is to be farming. So you want to focus on farming patterns, and what this means is the direction you go on the map to farm. So if you'll notice here, he walks up here to the creeps, farms the lane creeps, which this is really risky, but he knows that his team just killed 2 of their heroes, and he can see the Invoker top and Ursa top, so he knows they're not going to be able to come bot. And what he'll do is he'll quickly flash farm up these creeps, and then he'll go down here and farm this camp, and then this camp, and then you want to be efficient in your farming patterns. So try to maybe watch some YouTube guides or some pro player replays just to see their farming patterns, because a good farming pattern makes the carry player more efficient. This is very important, especially when you need to farm your items fast, and a hero like Gyro needs to be ahead kind of to function. When you play Gyro from behind, it's just a lot more difficult to play, just due to the nature of the hero. But if you notice his farming patterns, he farmed the lane, then he farmed 4 camps, now he's farming 2 more camps. Speed it up a little bit here. Just farm, 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 farm. He's looking mid. Notice how he's looking mid, because he doesn't want to be too AFK, but he definitely needs to focus on his farm. Look at his net worth, by the way. 5,700 compared to he's 1,500 gold above Darkseer. Crystallis, Treads, Falcon Blade, 10 minutes. This is what makes pro players pro, because they have such a good understanding about when to dominate lane, when to play aggressive, when to farm, how fast to farm. Farming patterns are really good. So yeah, try to focus on your farm a lot. Just playing position 1. He's looking mid. He's actually going to walk all the way mid, even though nothing's going to happen out of it. But what he does here is he ults and he flaks down the creeps. And this is just good. This is just nice to help your team defend towers. You don't want to be too AFK. And especially if you're playing a hero that can do this well, it's good to do it. Like if he's playing a hero like AM, he will never in a million years ever come to mid lane right there. But so he knows he's won his lane really hard. He's ahead, and he's able to just help his team relieve some pressure. So again, back to farming, and he's not going to run all the way back bottom just because he's able to stack and farm up some camps here. It's very important to understand farming patterns. Like maybe a bad player would have like walked past all those camps to down a bot for 1 creep wave, which would have been worth it. But he knows he's able to farm all these, and then by the time he gets there, the creeps are still there. It's just things he knows as a pro player. Again, farming, farming, farming. All right, now he's farmed a lot. He's got an Aghanim's and a Crystallis. And if you don't know what Aghanim's does, it adds an extra side gunner to his hero, so he just every time he's near creeps, an extra attack comes out passively. So if you'll notice where he's playing top now instead of bottom. This is for a couple reasons. 1, he's got some decent vision up top to know where the enemies are, and 2, bottom is very scary. It's dark down there. None of the heroes are showing on the map, and he doesn't want to be too far away from his team because there's potential he can get picked off. And there's one more reason for this is he wants to play for an objective, and that objective is Roche. So since he knows he's far ahead and his team understands this as well, he's going to come top, shove this wave, farm some creeps here as well, and then while his team walks up, they're going to go Roche. And now what Roche allows you to do, especially if you take it early like this, is it allows you to get map control and farm the entire map. So his team's going to be farming the entire map. They're going to go for this top tower, I believe. Walks up, takes his top tower, farms some creeps. By the way, guys, always remember to be efficient as a carry player. Farms creeps while taking the tower. He has Aegis, so he's allowed to do this stuff. And then, they glyphed, back to farming, pressures tower some more. But all this happens because he won his lane, got really good item timings, and now he's got Aegis from Roshan, so that means he respawns when he dies, and his team is playing around him, and they're forcing objectives early, applying a ton of pressure. So his team goes in. They actually overextend a lot here, and they actually end up losing this fight. And this is just kind of the patch where it's like, if you go high ground at all, pretty much, you just lose. But fight actually ends up pretty good for them. And then immediately you'll notice he TP's out back to farming. So this is as a carry player, you always want to be farming. You want to hit your timings because you're the carry. You're the win condition for your team. You will win the game for your team. So back to farming. They're going to take Tormentor here with the help of his Pudge. He's Satanic now. At 21 minutes, he has Satanic Aghanims. Oh, interesting. He disabled his Crystallis. So he doesn't need the crit anymore, but he wants the Satanic instead for the lifesteal. Anyways, he hits fast items, which allows him to look at his counterpart, Ursa. Ursa with Blink, Battle Fury, that's it. And Gyro has like this crazy satanic ags, he can't die. So while Ursa's not weak, he is way stronger. And he's also level 17 compared to, oh, never mind, I lied. Ursa's also level 17. Moron alert. Comes down. At this point, he's so strong, he kind of is just hunting for kills. The enemies can't kill him, he has satanic, he knows this. So now he's playing super aggressive. He's running around for kills, taking all objectives he can. Meanwhile, still farming. Just remember, still farming. There's never a time in this game where the guy is not farming, especially if he's playing position 1. This does apply to all cores, but look at this. All right. Cut it out, editor. Daniel, editor, future Daniel, cut it out. All right, now he's uber farmed, top net worth. He's got Aegis here. His team just did Roche. He's 6 slotted. So what he's going to do is he's literally just going to walk high ground and take the buildings. So this is kind of how you play carry in the later game. Like, you are in charge of winning the game for your team. So your team makes a ton of space for you. Obviously, it's not really like it is. It's not really a 1v5 game in Dota. It's always a team game. But look at his damage. Look at his. This is his job, is to do the damage and be the win condition. He's taking towers. He's killing every hero. He just no, they can't kill him either. So he's hard to kill, and he's killing them over time. He does a ton of damage. He's getting Pudge is saving his mana here. Speed it up a little bit. Kites out a little bit. Waits for the wall, and then he goes right back in. He's the win condition. He's the reason his team is able to end. You can't be a carry player and not carry the game later on. Your job is to carry the game. If you can't carry in later game team fights, play a different role, I would say. But your job, again, is to carry the game. How many times we're in a drinking game? How many times does Daniel say carry the game? This team fight, look, Ursa can't even touch him. He's so farmed. He's so far ahead. He literally just ends the game. He has this crazy timing. He has this crazy like 6 slot timing. Like, look at Ursa's items. How is Ursa supposed to? Ursa has like Battle Fury as his farming item, and then he has BKB, Blink, and Basher. These items are like kind of relatively small. And then you have Gyro over here, big Giga Chad Gyro, Butterfly, BKB, Agate, like all these super expensive items. No one can fight him. He has Aegis. It doesn't even matter. He's just killing everything. Which Pudge kind of saves him, but saves Ursa at the same time. He still has Aegis. Again, guys, if you're playing carry and you have Aegis, you use it. Go in. Just kind of go in. Suicide yourself, almost. You know what's actually funny is they're losing this fight. A lot of buybacks came out, but look at... Oh my gosh, big man! Ursa can't even man up against him. Ursa can't even man up against him. They kill Darkseer. Darkseer no buyback. He's literally just ending the game. Like, this is why the carry is called the carry, because he's truly carrying the game. If his team is messing up spells or dying or whatever, it doesn't matter. He's so far ahead, he can literally just kill them all. Marcy dead. Ending the game. Just straight up ending the game. Ursa tries to man up. He can't. Gyro's just sitting there hitting him, standing his ground. Ursa, what are you going to do, buddy? That's what he's saying. Even diving fountain. That's how confident he is. Look at his damage. It's insane. Your job as the carry is to do damage late game and win the fights. Obviously, you have disablers on your team and people to help you out and supports to save you and stuff, but you are the carry. You're the win condition. How many times I say carry this game? Should I make a carry counter? Try and edit in a carry counter. See if I'm good enough at editing to do that. Wow. Just like that, game is over. Just like that, game's over. And I want to say one more thing before I end the video. Your main stat you want to focus on is net worth and GPM. And look at, god damn, 923 GPM compared to his counterpart Ursa with 620 GPM. Now, there's a lot of external factors besides just him farming really fast. Like, his team played well, his team made a lot of space for him and stuff, but 20 kills, 3 deaths. He died 3 times, and this is what makes a good carry player. Avoiding death, farming really fast, and fighting when you know you're stronger than the enemies. So, yeah. Alright, well, that's going to be it. Wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you go and try out carry. I hope you have fun. I hope all you carry players stop crying in my games. I'm just kidding, but real talk. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good day, and go gain some MMR, guys. Have a good one.